Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Gruning, and welcome to your Prescription for Health.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Gruning, and welcome to Prescription for Health. I am so excited that you guys decided to join us today for our show because we're going to be talking about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. But first, before we get to that, let me introduce my guests. I have Tom and Donna Paul here with me that are friends of mine. And Tom, why don't you give us a little bit of your background and where you come from?
Okay. I actually went to school at Liberty Baptist College in Lynchburg, Virginia, where I studied applied kinesiology and exercise physiology.
Cool.
And then I went on to be involved in the fitness industry. My wife and I, Donna and I, owned a fitness center of our own, and
Wow.
my family actually owned 4 fitness centers in Massachusetts.
Wow, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a lot of background in health and fitness, and I know that you like to do a lot of education with people. And today we're going to talk about something really exciting nutritionally, and that's the whole subject of chocolate. But we're not going to be talking about just any old kind of chocolate. But before we get to that, I think if it's okay with you guys, I want to take a few minutes to educate the people watching about free radicals and antioxidants, okay? So we're going to go to our PowerPoint, if we can get to that, and we'll take a look at what free radicals and antioxidants are. So free radicals are substances that are entering our body that shouldn't be there. But they're also being produced by our body as a part of normal metabolism. But what's important to remember that free radicals are a very toxic substances and cause damage to our cells and to our DNA. And so what you're seeing on the screen here is a depiction of these little orange blobs attacking your cells, and those would be representative of free radicals. Now, where do free radicals come from? Well, you can see a whole host of things that can cause them. Smoking is one of the biggest things, so if you're a smoker, please quit. Stress, sunlight actually induces changes in your skin that cause free radicals. Various medications, foods, certainly preservatives, artificial sweeteners. There's a lot of things that are bad that can cause free radicals to be produced. X-rays, we were just talking about radiation exposure prior to going on the show. And that's like a big deal today, especially with medical procedures, but also just being out in the sunlight. Pollution, mercury, food additives, pesticides, which we're all exposed to, and many, many more things. Now, what can free radicals actually do to you? They can cause cancer, arthritis, diabetes, heart disease. In fact, we believe now that most of the major diseases in the Western world, chronic diseases, are being caused by inflammation, and inflammation is caused from free radical damage. So this is a big deal for our healthcare system, because if we're looking at ways to try to cut health expenditures and to rein in the healthcare costs, fighting off the toxic effects of free radicals is really important. So fortunately, God created a defense mechanism for us called antioxidants. So an antioxidant is a substance, a molecule, which donates electrons to a free radical to neutralize it, to make it harmless so it can be excreted from your body. So consuming antioxidants is extremely important to us. And this is a quote that says, "The amount of antioxidants that you maintain in your body is directly proportional to how long and how healthy you will live." So this is a huge deal, and that's from our own government saying that. So this is from Richard Cutler, who's at the National Institutes of Health in Washington, D.C. So before we get to this slide, we've talked a little bit about free radicals, Tom and Donna, and what bad effects they cause on our body. We've talked about antioxidants and how they can neutralize those and protect us in our health. So what are the things, and we've talked a little bit about what diseases can result from this. Now, what are some sources of antioxidants? So everybody's wondering out here now, well, how do I get more of these things to protect myself? So where can they get them?
Well, antioxidants come from phytonutrients, which are plant-based nutrients. And it might surprise people to know that, and we can look at the chart in a minute here, that the most powerful source of antioxidants is actually the cocoa bean.
Cocoa bean? You got to be kidding me.
It is the new buzzword, Dr. Gruning, because there's actually antioxidants in everything, just about. You walk through your grocery store shelves, there's antioxidants in your shampoo. There's
Everybody's advertising
That's
that.
right.
Everybody's
In the dog food, wherever.
Yeah.
But we're focusing on something that we can ingest that has the highest amount of antioxidants really anywhere on the planet right now.
Well, that's really exciting. So you're telling me that as I eat chocolate, which I dearly love, I mean, I border on probably a chocolate addiction. I don't want to admit that, but it is. So you're telling me as I eat that, I'm actually helping myself? Is that true for all chocolate?
No, no. In fact, all chocolate is not created equal.
Okay, well, let's go to this this slide first, because I really want to go take a look at this and see what this chart about antioxidants, because that's really critical. Tom, why don't you kind of walk us through what this is showing the people?
Sure. If you look at the red arrow on the right-hand side, a lot of people know that spinach is good, it's healthy for you, and it is high in antioxidants. But if you look at what they call the WRXY value, or the antioxidant level of spinach, it's 1,200 and something there. But then if you look at the arrows to the left, the red arrows to the left, you'll see at the very top of the chart, and this is all these fruits and vegetables are listed in descending order. So the highest, most antioxidant-rich food in the world, as you can see, is the unprocessed cocoa butter. And then number 2 is the acai berry.
Okay, now I need to interrupt you there, Tom, because I brought some spinach.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Okay?
We got to get a picture of Donna.
Here we go.
Okay.
Now, this is maybe about, I don't know, 10 cups maybe 12 cups of spinach, not a lot. Now, you're telling me that this is how many antioxidants?
Well, let's do a comparison just to
Okay.
put things in perspective here.
All right.
Take one of those little squares here.
Okay.
Let me hold that up for you.
All right.
And on every single square that our company produces, there's a number on there. That's actually how many antioxidants are in each little square. The number on this square is 16,000 and some odd.
Okay.
Now, just to put things in perspective, this little square has more antioxidants than that big bowl of spinach. And
Wow,
now my
that's
question
pretty
to
incredible.
my question to you, Donna, is which would you choose to eat?
I like a little spinach salad, you know that, but I would not be consuming this whole bowl. I would go for the piece of chocolate instead. And I'm
Right.
sure Dr. Gruning would agree with me on that.
Right. And another thing, too, is I might add that not only is this higher in antioxidants, but this has a more broad spectrum of antioxidants than the spinach. Maybe we can expound on that a little later.
Well, that goes into the whole subject, I think, of WRXY scores, which is oxygen radical absorption capacity, correct?
Right.
And so we need to talk a little bit about where that comes from and who developed that and why that's important for all the viewers to know.
Okay, that's a good question. And there's a laboratory in Massachusetts called Brunswick Laboratories. Right now, they're the most advanced laboratory in the country. In fact, the way they measure foods for their antioxidant levels and flavanol content is so accurate and so advanced that it's become an international standard. So that's where
And our own government uses them,
Yes,
correct?
the United States Department of Agriculture contracts out with them.
Right.
And the thing is, the interesting thing is everything they've tested so far, they called our company when they tested ours and said, we want to congratulate you guys. You have the highest antioxidant levels of any functional food we've ever tested.
Wow.
And so the neat thing about our products is on every single product you see the Brunswick Labs certification on every box. And you'll also see, very, very important, not only the antioxidant content. For example, in this one cookie, there's 36,765 antioxidants, but they also put the flavanol content, or flavonoids. And the amount of flavonoids in here is 1,447. That's huge.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's where the antioxidants should come from. If you see a food with certifications and you don't see the flavonoid content on there, then beware, because you don't know where their antioxidants are coming from. It might be a synthetically produced product that they inject into their food.
So from what you're saying then is not all chocolate is created equal. So
No.
if I go to the store, and for example, my real weakness in the past was Dove bars, and I'll just say that. And so I could eat a whole bag of Dove bars, and it was poison to me now. I understand that. So you walk into a store and you look at all these dark chocolates and you figure, okay, I've heard about dark chocolate, it's probably good for me. And you find some 80% cacao piece of some kind of chocolate. Is that the same thing as what we're talking about here?
No, and that's a good question. And the huge difference is, first of all, even if it's 80%, 86%, whatever percentage it is, unfortunately what most of the chocolate companies do and all the chocolatiers is they alkalize the chocolate, because chocolate, when it comes straight from the tree, like the Mayans and Aztec Indians used to use it, is very, very bitter. And the bitterness comes from the antioxidants.
Okay.
So what these companies do is they alkalinize it, which gets rid of the bitterness, but in the process that's destroying the antioxidants. And then they Dutch it, and that means they heat it.
Okay.
And they cook it to the point where that, again, whatever is left alive is ruined even further. And then some of the companies even ferment it. And then, of course, after all that, they add hydrogenated oils. They take the healthy fat out of it, and they put in hydrogenated oils, which are carcinogenic, and then they put refined sugars and waxes and all kinds of fillers that are definitely not good for you.
So the end result is this piece of chocolate that we buy in the store has nothing good left in it.
No, in fact, it's what I call a dead, non-functional food called chocolate candy.
Well, and as we're looking at in some of our other shows, those things are actually toxic to our body and may be responsible for a large portion of the obesity epidemic and diabetes epidemic that we've been dealing with.
Hence the addictions.
Hence the addictions, right. So this is totally different because this isn't heat processed, right?
No, you're right, it's cold pressed. In fact, they have a proprietary formula where there's actually 96 steps they take to make sure that all the nutrients, including the antioxidants, are unharmed.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and they have an 18-year patent on that. So it's very interesting the way they do that.
So we're talking about a product here today called Shosai. And where did they get the name Shosai from?
That's another good question. And the answer to that is the Mayans, the Aztec Indians, they ate the chocolate right from the tree, and they called it chocolato.
Okay.
And because our company keeps it as close as you can possibly keep it to the way they picked it off the tree and grinded it and then put it in a drink, that's why they called it Shosai, because the first part of it is chocolato. However, our company said we're not going to use refined sugar or anything else unhealthy to make it taste good, because chocolate is bitter if you don't do something to make it taste good. So what they said was, well, instead of including refined sugar, let's see if we can make it taste good by adding other functional superfoods to cocoa bean. So they added the acai berry, and that helped the taste a lot.
And that's the highest antioxidant fruit in the world.
Exactly.
Which was number 2 on the list,
Number
as
2
we
on
saw.
that chart list, right?
Yep.
Right. And then they did add one more functional superfood to that, and that's blueberries. And that has sweetness to it.
And
also,
everybody knows that blueberries are very, very high in antioxidants and very good for you.
Yes. In fact, on that chart, that's number 6.
Right.
Down from.
So really, Shosai is a medical superfood. It really is. It's amazing. When you first introduced this to me, I was so blown away by this, because I have people coming into my office all the time wanting me to put patients on different kinds of products, and I always like, oh, I'm not interested. But this got my attention because this isn't a disgusting drink that they have to drink or some pill they have to take. It's chocolate. It's an amazing thing. When we come back in just a second, we're going to go through some of the products and actually sample some of it and talk about it. But we're going to go to a short break now and talk about some of the sponsors that are taking care of putting this show on the air. So we'll cut out to that, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay.